If you have ever posted a thirst trap and genuinely believed it was inspiring body positivity, or if you've convinced yourself that your ex was somehow intimidated by your growth when they actually left because you became really insufferable, then this video is for you. Because there's a good deal of difference between being the main character of your own life and turning everyone else into NPCs or non player characters in your personal reality show. Welcome back to Huddle Psychology, where we get uncomfortably real about the stuff going on in your head. I'm Rahul Nair, where we are here to decode the psychology behind why we do the things, the weird things we actually end up doing. All right, let's set this up. Main character energy is almost everywhere right now. TikTok is basically telling us to choose ourselves. Instagram reminds us you're that girl. And every self help guru worth his salt is preaching radical self love. And look, healthy self consciousness or self focus is necessary and even required at certain times. But somewhere along the way, we've created a generation of people who think self care means never being accountable. Self love means everyone else's feelings become secondary, and that can be problematic. So, here's what I'm seeing concerning things: people who can't handle any criticism because they've labeled it toxic, or friends who turn every conversation back to themselves, partners who think compromise is betrayal of their authentic self. And the scary part is that they genuinely believe they are just practicing good boundaries. So, how do you know? So, how do you know if you've crossed the line from healthy self advocacy into toxic main character syndrome? That's what this video is all about. So, let's lay out the psychology. There's something in psychology called the spotlight effect, which essentially tells us that we are naturally prone to kind of overestimate how much others notice and judge our actions. Social media has kind of really amplified this to an insane degree, when every moment of your life is potentially social media content. You start performing your existence instead of actually living it. Real main character syndrome shows up in three key ways. And let me go one by one. Firstly, what we call the narrative fallacy. So here you've turned your life into a story where you're always the hero or you're always the victim of your story, never just a person having normal human experiences. A hero or a victim, never someone who's having normal human experiences. Your breakup then isn't just a breakup, it's a villain origin story with respect to the person who broke up with you. Your career change isn't something practical, it's you following your authentic path. Every mundane event in your life gets a dramatic twist, gets dramatic meaning, because the main character, of course, doesn't really have boring Tuesday afternoons, right? So that's the first thing, the narrative fallacy. Secondly, empathy erosion. What do we mean by that? Well, when you're always focused on your own experience, your ability to genuinely consider other people's perspectives kind of atrophies. You start seeing other people's needs as actual obstacles to your growth. Your friend's depression becomes about how it affects your energy. Your partner's bad day becomes about how they're not showing up for you. It's always about you as opposed to really empathizing with someone else. So that's the second point. Then, thirdly, feedback resistance. Healthy people can receive criticism and evaluate whether it's useful or whether it's not useful. But when you're the main character, any negative feedback kind of threatens your entire identity. So you label valid concerns and valid feedback and valid criticism as projection or jealousy or even toxic. You surround yourself then with yes people who always kind of validate your narrative and your story. So here's the thing that's really messed up. What's really messed up is that our culture has almost made it impossible to call this out, which is why I'm trying to make this video. If you question someone's main character behavior, you're automatically unsupportive, or you're automatically seen as holding people back. We've created a social environment where accountability, to be honest, feels like oppression. That's the kind of social environment we have created, which is rather unfortunate. So, how do you maintain healthy self consciousness, healthy self focus without becoming a psychological black hole? So, let me give you three reality checks. Number one, the conversation test. In your last five conversations with friends or with your family members, how much time have you spent on your problem versus theirs? If it's consistently 80-20 or 70-30 in your favor, then I'm afraid you may be main charactering. Healthy relationships have reciprocal attention. So that's reality check number one. Reality check number two is the criticism response. When someone gives you feedback, what's your first initial internal reaction? Is it to consider whether there's truth in it, or is it to figure out something wrong with the person who's actually giving you the feedback? People with healthy self esteem can always separate criticism of their behavior from attacks on their self worth. Reality check number three, the supporting cast check. Do the people in your life actually feel like full, proper human beings with their own rich inner worlds? Or do they actually feel like side characters, in your story who kind of exist to advance your plot? If your friends' problems feel like inconvenient side issues or side quests in your own main storyline, then I'm afraid that's a red flag to watch out for. Look, the goal ultimately is not to be a doormat who never prioritizes yourself. It's the point here is to be the main character of your own life while also remembering that everyone else is the main character of theirs. It's important to consider and recognize that. It's understanding that your growth matters and your impact on others also matter. It's knowing the difference between setting healthy boundaries and, to be honest, good old selfishness, right? So that's what you need to be conscious about. So here's the homework for the coming week with respect to this. For the next week, try the 70-30 rule in your conversations. Aim for 30% of the talking time to be about you and the remaining 70% to be genuinely curious, genuinely curious about others. I'm not meaning fake curiosity or fake interest, real curiosity. Listen to people without thinking about how you are going to respond. Listen to people for real understanding and see how it feels. See how that actually goes. And look, if this hit a little too close to home, don't spiral. Awareness is the first step, as it is the case with almost anything, isn't it? Awareness is the first step, and honestly, most people go through a main character phase in their life. I have as well. The key is catching it before you lose the people who actually matter to you in your life. That is the real key. All right. Next week, we are talking about the sunk cost fallacy. How and why your brain tricks you into staying in situations that are slowly killing your soul. Whether that's a toxic job, a dead end relationship, or maybe a college major that you actually hate, is about to get very, very real about why not giving up sometimes means giving up on the wrong things. That's all coming next week. But in the meantime, drop a comment. Drop a comment below if you've ever caught yourself main charactering, or if you've been on the receiving end of someone else's toxic self love era. Let's keep it real with respect to the contents below. And if you want to go deeper, as always, check out huddlepsychology.substack.com for the full research breakdown on this topic. And if you need to talk, one on one, hit me up at rahul@huddlepsychology.com. So until next time, keep huddling, keep growing. Ciao for now.